Good morning, everybody. Again, it's so wonderful to see everybody's faces, and I want to shout out to Katie Resendez and all of our Wire UU leaders and our bridgers and participants and the kids and everybody involved in children's ministry for what a beautiful service today. Again, Carolyn, I'm incredibly grateful that we had the cat because I would have been ugly crying and it would have been hard to pull myself together right now. I'm Kim St. Clair. I'm your board secretary, and I'm going to take you through how to rename yourself before we get started. First of all, everybody, I'm going to ask you to please mute yourself. So everybody, please mute yourself.
How do you do that? Oh,
and I can go ahead and
I think, Christine, you can mute people as the host.
I will mute all except for you and I right now.
Okay. All right, so I'm back on. So we're going to ask folks to please rename yourselves. And I'm going to take you through how to do that. And I believe some slides are going to come up also to take you through it. The reason why we're having you rename your profile the way it comes up in your screen with your little video box is because we need to have a sense of who are our members that are present today. So voting members, and also who's in your household that's present today so that we can take a quorum count. And so when we start voting, we know we've got a quorum and we know that we've got members who are voting. So that's the reason why we're going to have you rename yourself. So once again, when you're looking at your own little video box, if you go up into your upper right-hand corner and you hover your cursor up there, you'll see that there's a blue mute button. And then right next to that, there's going to be a little icon with 3 dots. So go ahead and everybody click on those 3 dots. And when you do that, you'll see a menu, and the 3rd item down will say rename. So if you'll please click on where it says rename.
And Kim, on the slide, we also have, you can go to the participants thing at the bottom of your screen and find your name at the top. And the second button is rename. There's a graphic on the screen right now.
Okay, yes. And so exactly, you can do it either way. I find it's a lot easier to do it in my video box, but you can also go to the participant list that's up on the screen. And what you will also see on the screen, once you hit rename, whether it's in the participant box or in your video box where you see yourself, we're going to ask you to please rename yourself with, first of all, leading with member in all caps so that we know that you're a member.
If you are a member. Yeah.
If you are a member. If you are not a member of the UUCP and you're here just to see how we run our meetings, please don't bother renaming yourself. That's fine. But we do need voting members. So those are people who have signed our membership books and who have made some sort of financial commitment to the congregation, even if that included asking for a financial waiver. So that would mean that you're a member if you've got those 2 things going. So you'll type member, then a dash, and then you'll type in the names of the members in your household who are also voting members of UUCP. So for example, I see Walter and Ruth are on my screen, and they're doing it exactly right. Walt has written member, dash, and I can't see the rest of what he's written yet, but I do see that he's changed his name to include himself and Ruth. And if you need some help with how to do this, go ahead and write in the chat box that you need a little help, and we'll guide you through a little bit more if you need to. And I see somebody whose name is iPad. iPad, if you could please change your name, whether you're a member or not, so that we can know who you are.
And I'm looking through who's got questions. Val, would you like me to rename you?
That would be lovely.
Absolutely.
I can't find the 3 dots.
Okay.
Okay, we got you. And it's sometimes it's a little different for,
Okay.
oh,
Did you lose me?
nope, I'm just going to, somebody pushed the wrong button, so I just turned that off. Let's see if we can go through, and you'll see that some people are board members. Robert, would you like me to change yours? Robert Eland? Yep, oh, you got it. It just changed, look at that. Okay, y'all are good. Ann Chase, can I change yours?
Yeah, I kind of missed the beginning because I had my sound turned way down.
That's great. And you're a member, right, Ann?
I am.
Okay, wonderful. Okay, and Carol, I'm glad that you are here. Len O'Brien, are you a member? I can. Yes, you are. I'm going to. Okay, we're just looking through.
How about Myra Shaw?
Myra Shaw, I see Dan, I'm gonna, and I can, Stephanie, you're a co-host too, if you can help me. So Des, I'm gonna put member at the beginning of yours. Sylvia, I'll change, Sylvia Sharma, I'm gonna change you, right?
I'm a member,
Yeah.
Sandy? Yes, Sandy just joined us.
but it doesn't say I'm a member.
It will in a second. It's gonna be
Okay.
magic.
Kat Dixon, could you change yours too, please? Or do you need Reverend Christine to change yours?
I already changed it.
It's not
That's,
showing.
oh, that's funny. Okay, let me try it again.
Okay.
Dan Hun, you're a member? You can just nod yes or no. Yes, okay. Change that. I see Ree and Steph. Not member, I see, perfect. Okay, we're getting through. Look at you all, you're doing such a great job. Okay, and iPhone, Penny. Penny's a member, you're in my, I'm gonna change your name there, Penny. Okay.
Reverend Christine, you got a heck of an aura behind you.
I'll close the,
Thank you. Others have to wear sunglasses.
that's,
Special request. Thank you.
I do have an aura, actually.
Let the light shine.
He goes to Sedona too often.
That's funny. I don't know if this. Kim, I counted over 112 people who are members, so we're definitely past our minimum.
Okay, great.
Right.
Okay, well, Reverend Christine, shall we go ahead and get started?
Let's do that.
Would you like to share the PowerPoint, please?
Yes, I would. Sorry.
That's okay.
Stephanie, is it possible for you to pull up the PowerPoint and share the pieces?
I can't have 3 screens open, so if you want me on camera, it's gonna be hard.
Well, I'll tell you what, I will have you on camera later and we can put it down and then we'll pop you back on camera if you can do this. That would be great. Everyone, that is Stephanie Brydell Vigil. She is our business administrator. And I know that many of you haven't gotten a chance. I told her just about 2 minutes ago we were going to put her on camera. So go ahead and pop that on. Brian Quinn, are you a member?
He is marked down with our family, but he's listening from the kitchen, so it's just another device. But we marked him down under our screen.
Wonderful, thank you.
Okay, well, good afternoon, everyone. Again, my name is Kim St. Clair. I'm a proud member of your Board of Trustees, and I am the Board Secretary. So I will be calling our meeting to order. And before we get started, however, with calling everything to order, I'd like to remind us all of our vision for our congregation, which is to be a spiritual community for our time. And these times have been interesting and continue to be, but we will not say that they are unprecedented because that's become a cliche. So we are a spiritual community for our time, theologically diverse, radically inclusive, and justice-centered. And then if we could proceed to the next slide, please. Once again, if you haven't already done so, please mute yourself. When we do the voice votes, we will call for you to unmute yourself, but until that time, please mute yourself because we do have a lot of people on here and it can create some background noise. And most of you have already renamed your profile, so thank you very much for doing that. Once again, as a reminder, just list your names. And again, we've already led you through renaming your profile, so we'll go ahead and go on to the next slide, which is the renaming yourself. And so let's go to the slide after that one, please. So we've got our quorum check. Jenny Jones, you were taking the count for us that we have at least 50 members shall constitute a quorum for all meetings of the members of the UUCP bylaws. And we have verified that we have 50 members. Jenny Jones, are you on the call that you can give our official
Yes,
check?
I see well in excess of 50.
Okay, great. And so we're going to call this meeting to order then officially at 12:03 p.m. And then we will, here's our agenda. We've already done the first piece of the quorum check and the agenda and then some rules of procedure. Then Reverend Christine will take us through how we're going to do this unique voting with our technology. And she's got a fun way for us to do that. An introduction of our Board of Trustees, approval of last year's annual meeting minutes, a board report by our president, Johnny Lifshitz, 2017 to 2020 capital campaign update from Bunny Hodes, state of our congregation by Reverend Christine, and our financial and budget overview also from Reverend Christine. Vote on the budget, have our elections led by Kat Dixon, the chairperson of our nominating committee, and then we will adjourn the meetings to then the UU Foundation of Phoenix meeting. And we hope everybody will stay tuned for that meeting as well. So here are our foundation meeting agenda. Call to order by Pierre Theriault, a financial update, foundation election, and also an adjournment on the foundation meetings. So next slide, please. Our rules of procedure, very similar to when we are together in person, that we will be courteous and we will listen openly to one another. We ask you to please use the chat box for comments and to keep your comments brief and to the point when we open up the floor for discussion. We will have the usual voting process that a motion will be brought forward. We will ask for a second and we will vote. And we will have that, we'll have some practice as I mentioned earlier. And then once again, please remain muted until the moderator does call for the vote. So any questions or comments before we move on? Okay, we'll go ahead and move on then. And our Board of Trustees includes.
Click it again. I think there was.
Yeah, I think that Johnny Lifshitz is our president. Johnny, you want to say hi? So everybody sees you. Do a little wave.
Hi, everybody. I can't see myself anymore.
Okay. Bunny Hodes is our vice president. Buddy, will you say hi, please?
As soon as I unmute myself, hello, everyone.
Thank you. Larry Reed is our treasurer. Larry, I'm not sure if you're on here because there's so many people, but if you are, please unmute yourself and give us a little wave hello. Okay, I'll move on to Mary Doss, trustee at large.
Hello.
Hi, thank you. Sarah Moore, trustee at large.
Hi.
Thank you, Sarah. Jenny Jones, trustee at large.
Hello.
Thank you, Jenny. And then Dylan Lifshitz, our youth co-representative.
Hi.
Hi, Dylan. And then Alex Marshall, our other youth co-representative and proud bridger.
Yay.
Alex, could you say hello?
And we miss Christine Marshall.
Oh, and Christine Marshall, my bad. Christine Marshall, trustee at large. Christine, if you're on, please say hello. Okay, I don't hear Christine. And then, of course, Reverend Christine Dance, our minister and an ex officio member of our board. And our board meetings are the fourth Tuesday of every month, and they are opened to everyone. So please keep an eye out on Compass for when we do have our board meetings and for that link so that you can join us.
Kim, this is Johnny. Just a quick mention, the individuals on the board that have 2 stars next to them, their terms on the board are finished, and just to reach out and say that we couldn't have come as far as we did without their hard work and their collective input to make sure that we stay on the path that we set for ourselves. And thank you very much for your service.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for your service, Johnny. I'm glad that you reminded us all of that. And I believe I'm turning it over now to Reverend Christine for the technology process.
Absolutely. And I'm going to have a little privilege and do an invocation. So Stephanie, you can put me on big screen for just a minute, and then we'll go back to the technology. So hi, everyone. I want to just do a quick invocation. This is called annual meeting by Annuals. The power of our memory, history, high hopes for the days ahead.
Christine?
Yes?
You are breaking up. Maybe turn off your video and then just do the invocation.
Okay. There we go. We'll try that again. And that might mean that other folks aren't, other people aren't muted. I don't know if that's the case. From the power of our memory and our history, with high hopes for the days that lie ahead, we gather to craft the destiny we share with one another. We gather with faith in the practice of democracy. We gather with hearts and minds open to the wisdom in every voice among us. In our gathering, may we dream and design a bold future. May we bring our best selves to this service. And may we dream these dreams and do this work with love. Amen, and blessed be. Okay, so here's how the technology is going to work. You are, please keep yourself on mute unless you are called on to talk. There is a time within each topic where there will be a time for questions or discussion. And you can raise your, can you put me back on video and see? I'll do that. Can you all see, can you hear me now? Of course I can't, I just told you to put yourself on mute, so I don't know that. But I'm seeing yeses, thank you. So keep yourself on mute. When there's time for discussion, you can just raise your literal hand. Like put it right up to the screen, so as we scroll through, we can see it. We will call on you individually. Don't just everyone unmute themselves and start talking. Please raise your hand so that we can hear you fully. The votes will be done by a voice process. When it is time to vote, you can unmute yourself, or what we'll probably do, since some people had problems, we'll just unmute everybody, and you're gonna get to say A if it's affirmative, if there is a question, if we hear all the A's and very few nays, then we will take it as the verbal vote, it passed. So that's, yeah.
Reverend Christine?
Yes.
You're breaking up again.
Yeah, I think there's some people who aren't muted because I'm not doing.
Sometimes it is unstable connection that when you've got your video and audio at the same time, that's what will cause that effect.
Yeah, I'm here. I heard some background. Yeah, the screen share should not have any effect. That's done on Stephanie's TV. So what I did is I just went back and remuted everybody. There was some background noise. I'll do that every once in a while.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to practice this on one of my favorite topics. We're going to practice the statement of pickles are gross. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to unmute. Let's see, I'm going to unmute everyone. Where can I do that? I've got mute all. Okay, I'm going to have you all unmute. Oh gosh, Stephanie, I've always had an unmute button on here. Do I not? Okay, well, here's what I need you all to do. On your screen, somewhere on your picture, you have a mute. You have a actual mute button. It's either down on the bottom on your camera at the top right. And all we're raising hands and see. Stop sharing the screen right now, Stephanie. We have so here's the question. All of those things for pickles are gross. Then please there we go. Now you should be able to do it.
We can do it now.
Okay. All of those in favor of the statement, pickles are gross, say aye.
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 Nay.
Okay, I didn't call the nays yet, not yet. So go ahead and back and mute yourself again.
To do what?
Go ahead and mute yourself again. Okay. All of those not in favor, all of those not in favor of the statement, pickles are gross, say nay.
Nay.
Yummy.
Okay. Now go ahead and as soon as you're done, mute yourself again. As soon as you've said that, mute yourself again. And then all of those who want to abstain from the statement, pickles are gross, say abstain.
Abstain.
Okay. We've got one abstain. I actually think the nays took it. I think as a congregation, we cannot affirm the statement pickles are gross. And I am sadly disappointed in all of you for that, but that's okay. That is
Are gross.
That's great.
I don't
Okay.
have.
So that's how that's going to work. I'm going to mute you
Email
all.
address.
I don't know if this works the same for everyone. This is Ed Cernick.
Hi.
But pressing the space bar on a Mac temporarily unmutes you. You don't have to click with the mouse.
Wonderful. Thank you, Ed. So you can try the space bar to mute or unmute. That's a wonderful way to do it. So there you go. That
is, how do you know whether people didn't vote twice?
Well, we're asking you to please say it once. We are asking you kindly, and we're asking you if you are a member to only vote and to only say the word, say it once. Okay? That's part of You know, if there is some question about it, like on this one, if that was the budget, we might go to a hand raise. You know, but please, yeah, go ahead, Bill.
Okay,
Because of the
yeah,
way
please.
it works, whenever multiple people are talking, you can't.
Listen, I think I'm gonna leave this meeting because I don't really care.
One of them gets drowned out.
Andy, I'm gonna go ahead and mute you. Go ahead.
Okay, whenever in Zoom, you only hear one voice at a time for that given time.
Yes, that is true. And we do think that we can get enough of a great sense whether we've got more A's or nays in it. If we feel like it's even or the sound doesn't you know, come across, then we will do a hand count. Bill, thank you. Okay, on it. All right, thank you all for listening. We are doing this for your names on it.
Okay, is it, Christine, you were breaking up again. Is it over to me now?
It is. I'll go back downstairs.
And could I please have Bunny Hodis? If I start breaking up, will you please tell me and I will take off my video. So I have a designated person to tell me if I break up. So the next slide, please. So we sent out the annual congregational minutes from June 2nd, 2019 and the 2020 annual meeting information on May 15th, 2020. So that is part of our rules of procedure, is to affirm the minutes, to approve the minutes of the last annual meeting. Some of you might have questions about the fact that we had a meeting in February. That was an information only meeting. We didn't take any minutes, nothing was voted on. So we don't have any voted minutes to vote on from the February 2020 meeting. So it's just the June 2nd, 2019. So the board puts forward the motions to approve the June 2nd, 2019 annual meeting minutes. We need a second from somebody. So if somebody could unmute themselves very quickly and give me a second.
I'll
second.
Okay, so I need one person's name for the second, please.
Karen Kurtz.
Thank you, Karen. And is there any discussion about those minutes? So we'll open up the floor for discussion. So there being no discussion, then we'll go ahead and open it up for the vote. So all those in favor of approving the June 2nd, 2019 congregational minutes, please unmute yourself and say aye.
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 Okay, sounds like we got all the ayes. Those opposed, please unmute yourself and say no or nay. And those who abstain, please unmute yourself and say abstain.
Abstain.
Okay,
Abstain.
so we had 2 abstentions. So
Abstain.
with the 3 abstentions. So the motion carries. And with that, thank you, everybody. That went quite well. And I'm going to hand it over to Johnny Lifshitz for our board report.
Thank you, Kim, for giving me the shuttlecock and being able to take forth the rest of this meeting, at least the board report part of this. This is just a very quick informational slide. Hopefully just about 2 minutes to let you know what the board has been working on. The board is preparing a letter that will incorporate bullet points. I've been told I was breaking up by my wife, who's in the other room. I'm not sure what to do except sit a little closer to the microphone.
What I'm going to do, Johnny, is I'm going to mute everybody again, and just give me a second, and then I'll unmute yourself. Okay.
Johnny?
I have unmuted.
It really is more of a bandwidth issue. So again, if you turn off your video when you're breaking up like that, there you go.
Okay, so now you can't see my beard, which will be growing until we can be back in person together again. The board has put together a few bullet points that highlight what we've been working on. One of the things that we want to share is that we welcomed and onboarded and supported the UUA's best and brightest and boldest new minister. And if anyone disagrees, I'm more than welcome to take a phone call directly from any of you. And in doing so, we have most importantly endorsed and supported the boundaries and the bookmarks that we set in order to be able to establish a ministry that will last a long time, to be able to have Reverend Christine be with us in sound in a long period of time. Secondly, as you know, from last year, we had some financials, and the board has been foremost monitoring and being guided by this UUCP plan, the Reed Financial Restabilization Plan, which Larry Reed had laid out for us. We didn't know the timeline, but he walked us through this with such grace and expertise that has allowed us to get to the point where we have an accounting system, we have transparency, and we now have credit. And that credit is allowing us to achieve a mortgage moving forward. Very importantly, we're absolutely grateful for the congregation's support and trust that you've placed in the board and the staff. And the honor is actually ours to lead all of you and lead the congregation. We fully supported the online transition, that very rapid transition to online services. That was an important point to be able to move forward. And that online transition was primarily to protect the health of our members and make sure that we are adhering to science. We continue to monitor the risks and the necessities and the requirements that are needed to return to in-person gatherings. And we're encouraged by the success of the neighborhood groups that have brought us together and allowed us to maintain community as we move forward. We've also committed to increasing transparency so that the board and the board documents are as available as possible to keep everybody informed. And then also moving forward with the pandemic and being in a situation where the congregation is financially stable, we proclaim that we are going to maintain staffing levels throughout the pandemic, which has actually allowed us to build all the programs that you see in Compass. And so what does this mean for UUCP? From our perspective, UUCP sits in a very envious position within the UUA. We serve as a role model to many other congregations of what we can do. That is being a role model in terms of the way in which we're organized, the way in which we are inclusive, the way in which we deliver music, the way in which we deliver programs, and the way in which we communicate. And so within the next week, be on the lookout for an email letter from the board that articulates these points. And thank you very much.
Looks like I'm up next with the 2017-2020 capital campaign update. So we're in 2020. We actually started this to give you a little history because not everyone has been here the whole time. We started planning all this 5 years ago, and our original plan was to put in a new HVAC system, redo the top parking lot, put in a new front entry, accessible entry. We were looking for accessibility to our building and seed money for an assistant minister. Our original goal had been 1.5 million, but because of both the patio needs and the fellowship space needs, we added the patio into that goal, which put us, we were thinking overall it was going to be about 1.7, 1.75, and had 2 phases of the campaign that took place. What happened by the end of it is we have a new HVAC system, so we will not lose our air conditioning in the middle of our hot Phoenix summers, which will be wonderful once we get back in our building. We have a lovely new patio, which serves many needs for fellowship and especially to keep all the running water, and as monsoon season approaches, we'll keep all that running water out of our building. We have a new parking lot and a new accessible entrance from the parking lot into the sanctuary, making it much easier to come in from that side. And we have some new landscaping. We did have $100,000 go towards the positions of assistant minister or director of social justice for Amaris and for Anthony. And some of the things that are coming, but we have not yet completed, is we will still be doing the front doors to the main building. They will be double doors and magnetic, and so that we don't have to all squeeze in just one space at a time. What we did is we actually raised, we had pledged $1,245,235. Of that, we've received $1,174,898. That's a 94% completion rate at the end of our 3 years, which is really, really a great job, folks, and thank you for your generosity. There are some choices for those who haven't completed our pledging, because with all the changeover of administration, not everybody was really aware of where they were in the process. And so we still want to give people an opportunity, if they'd like to complete those pledges, to do that. So you have 3 opportunities here. You can pay now in full by June 30th of 2020 and complete now. You may request an extension of 1 year to June 30th of 2021, or you may request forgiveness of the pledge balance that you still have outstanding, because we know life has changed for a lot of people, not only in the last 3 years, but specifically in the last 6 months, 3 months, 2 months, all along the way. So if you would like to do that request, you may send a request to administrator@phoenixuu.org, which is Stephanie. You can send a request to me personally also. My email is in realm. The last thing that we'll still be looking at we are going to get new bids for the front entryway, which was phase 3 of what we did not complete, because Paradise Valley, we worked really hard to get them to extend our time frame for our permits. And so we're going to see if we can still pull off the last phase of the construction, both while we're out of the building and during this time when we have the phase, still have the zoning and permitting from Paradise Valley. So that's our capital campaign update, and I will turn it over to Reverend Christine. Whom I can't hear.
I'm right here. How can you hear me now? Can you all? Okay, good. I would love if we could stop sharing the screen and see if my video works. It doesn't.
You're breaking up.
Y'all. Okay, turning off my video. You don't get to see me. Is that better?
That's beautiful.
Okay, thank you. Okay, here is my minister's state of the congregation. Here, our ministry together. I'm seeing thumbs down.
Yeah, I think everyone needs to turn off their video.
To another place. Any better that way? I'm watching you, Robert Penland.
It is better.
Okay. So what I would say is it would have been enough to have a first year of ministry together. It would have been enough, since I am still relatively new to ministry. It would have been enough to follow the pride of Reverend Susan Frederick Gray's election in a transformative and challenging interim time. But then you add a pandemic and closing our campus and going online and an uprising like many of us have never seen in our time. So 2020 so far is weird level 40 is what I've decided. And yet the state of our congregation is so strong. Some key accomplishments: we do have stable finances. We have finished the construction project that was very challenging, and I was very disappointed in our contractor. We have a very solid staff team. We had a sad but loving departure of Laura Gustafson and a fast hiring of Stephanie Bridell Vigil. And I would love for Stephanie to just pop on her camera and wave, because she was here for 2 whole weeks before she had, we all went and closed down, and a number of you haven't met her yet. So Stephanie, are you there?
I did it, and then it made your video or your audio go all crazy, so then I stopped.
Okay. So I do hope that you all get the chance to get to know Stephanie more. It's going to take more of a concerted effort to make sure that you set something up with her and get a chance to say hi to her. And we have had joyful and community-focused worship. In the Corona era, we did pivot quickly to online worship in 4 days, and we have been making surprisingly meaningful worship time together. I do have a survey that I'm going to put in the chat, which you can do at your own timing. It's just kind of because we don't get to see you and wondering how you all are worshiping with us. So when you get a chance, you can do that. We developed some new technology capabilities very quickly, and every single staff role has changed dramatically. Every single one. The job description now does not look like what it looked like 4 months ago. We set up a multi-tiered pastoral care system. We set up a robust set of programming for each week. Children's Ministries is doing some amazing work of pastoral care for our children, programming, and an incredibly successful online kids camp. We are paying all of our employees. That was a decision that we made in the very first week. Employees who were dependent on the building being open have shifted their jobs in extraordinary ways. And you all have had some extraordinary generosity to the Ministerial Discretionary Fund so that we can find innovative ways to care for our community during these really tough times. We do have some opportunities as a congregation. I think our biggest opportunity is in this pandemic, we went right into crisis mode and turned everything on. I would say our mode right now is intense, and we need to find a way to make it sustainable. So shifting to this is how we do it in a more sustainable way, especially for our staff, is going to be a big priority in the next coming months. We need to continue to be nimble and be able to pivot immediately to respond to the economy, to viruses, to the illnesses in our community, to justice issues as we've seen. We are trying and want to continue to envision what returning to the building looks like. We know that we are going to need to continue our online presence. We are also going to have a big focus on safety. It is a brand new world. It is something that we will be continuing to talk about. We have said as a congregation and a board that we do not expect to be in the building until at least the end of 2020. And the guidelines from the UUA are May of 2021. We will be taking it. We just don't feel like it makes any sense to put any lines in the sand at this point. What we will say is we will not return to the building until it is safe to do so. Another opportunity is our membership. We We started with not very much structure at all to a committee that's been doing a great job, but we do need more infrastructure around it, and we need to figure out how to do it online. Another opportunity is justice, and how do we stand up for critical justice issues, especially when the in-person ways of doing it aren't advisable for many. We're finding new ways to organize and bring focus as a community to the issues that are most important. As Johnny said, or I think we were saying it later, we are still understaffed. We had an absolutely amazing staff, and they are overperforming and overfunctioning. They have continued to do that in many ways. And just because they can doesn't mean we should be doing it that way all the time. And we had hoped to get into some longer term plans, financial 5-year plans, staffing plans, and goals. We have had to shift from that, but we hope very soon to get back to that. I want you to know that I have loved my first year with you. I have been able to be myself with you. I have laughed and cried with you, and it is an amazing privilege to be your minister. We have amazing leaders in so many areas. Everyone is supportive and kind and funny and generous in every meaning of the word. And my very first sermon with you, I talked about let's human together. And this year we humaned together. We were very human. We have no idea what the world will look like by this time next year, but we know for certain that we will be changed by it. And I know something else even more than I've ever known it before, which is we need each other. Community isn't a nice to have, it's essential. We need each other for support, to find meaning in all of this, to find joy, and to explore our sorrow. We need each other to find our strength, even when we don't necessarily know where it's coming from. We know there will be challenges in this next year, loss that we may not be able to bear, but I also know that we will be able to connect more deeply and make new connections and understand our mutual connection to humanity together. We need each other. We need this community. We need the voice of liberal religion. We need each other. I can't wait to see you in person again. And thank you for the great honor of being your minister. And I'm done. But it's actually mine now to take the budget. So how are you doing? How are you hearing me? I'm hearing a little choppy, but I'm also hearing some other folks.
We're getting most of what you're saying. Every once in a while, there's a little choppiness, but we're getting the words.
Okay, terrific. Well, I hope you got enough of it. I've got it in writing if you need it.
We got it.
Okay, wonderful. So our next point of business is our budget, the financial and budget situation. So can we go back to the slide, Stephanie? Wonderful. So we want to make sure you know some things about our finances. Our financing is stable and monitored regularly. Financing being stable is a big accomplishment. As you all know, it's been a big priority of the year. We are living within the means of our budget. Our income is ahead of the budget thanks to really strong support and 35 new members, a lot of generous individuals who stepped up above and beyond. And we are operating about 10% under our budget right now. So we have been very lean. We also had an unexpected cost in replacing the roof from the Johnson room to room 15. It was about $57,000 to restore and repair it. And we financed that through existing operations and a construction budget. You can go to the next slide. Our income is higher than expected. Our budget was 560,000 with other income of 66. We actually are almost close to, we got pledges to 604. Our actual pledges in so far are 554, but we've gotten $160,000 of other congregational income, which puts us significantly higher than where we thought we were going to be. Again, thank you to all of you for your generosity. Next slide. And we do remain understaffed. We are financially responsible, but not enough with enough income for levels for a congregation of our size, especially responding to the pandemic. We will be playing 2020 very safe. We want to be able to respond to the economy, pandemic in a closed building. So I think the best line that I ever heard in the budget meeting was, we appreciate that you are conservative in finances and in nothing else. That's the line that I heard. So we are playing it very carefully on our finances for it. Next slide. And we've got some ongoing financial activity and some great news. We've got a new loan to cover the mortgage and the construction balance. Thank you, Larry Reed. We had a $200,000 loan to cover us for the construction. Thank you for the foundation. We received our 501c3 status this week. Yay! Thank you, Larry Reed. We are working on financial checks and balances. Thank you to the finance team at Christine Marshall. We have transitioned to QuickBooks Online. We have
Just lost you.
We don't have audio.
Christine, we lost you right after transitioning to QuickBooks Online. There you are. We heard the sigh.
You heard my sigh?
Yes.
Like, you all don't understand. I'm walking around the congregation trying to find the best space.
You just keep humaning, because we're humaning with you.
I am humaning. So we've got a great new bookkeeper, Phil Slater, who is also a valued member, and he's done an amazing, amazing job. So yay for Phil.
Yay!
And we are building financial reserves for next year for any, just because it's uncertain times, and because we should have reserves, but we should especially have reserves now. So that's where we are in financial activity. Okay, next slide.
My turn.
Yep, I think it's your turn, Bunny.
Stewardship. I want to thank everyone for all their generosity and for really joining in with me these last 2 years to really turn stewardship into a time of remembering that what we're giving for, we're not paying dues to be members here. We're giving to support our values. We're giving because we love this community and this congregation, and we want to see it exist now into the future, and we want to be able to fund our vision and fund our dreams. Our theme this year was For Our Time, and boy, we couldn't have picked a better, more appropriate theme, because every week we're shifting some more for our time. Our goal this year was 609,000. As of yesterday, we have 529,480 pledged, which we're still looking for then 79,520 to reach our goal. As Christine was saying, we're very solid in our finances, so don't want anybody to panic over this change. It's not going to mean someone loses anything. We're just trying to work our way back up here. The next part is our pledging unit participation. I say units because a household might have 2 different people together pledging. So while we have 450 members, sometimes we have 2 members or more that might be part of a pledging unit. Our goal this year was for 289 of those units to check in with us and to make some kind of a commitment, and we've had 231. So we're still waiting for 58 units, people, pledgers to respond to us. A big thank you to those who have pledged and shown your generosity. We'd like to suggest that you set up auto pay if it works for you, because, auto pay, because in most instances, it's easier to kind of spread out your payments over the time rather than trying to do it all at one time. Also, showing your generosity of spirit is responding, is just simply making a response. So what we're still looking for upcoming is to commit your intention if you have not yet done that for this year. We're looking for if you need a waiver, if you want to make a small gift, give what we can. We're not trying to stretch people out. We're asking people to make financially responsible commitments because your response is a gift. So you can send a note to me if you would like to sign a waiver, or if you would like to continue. This is a big one. For those of you on auto pay already, if you have not responded but would like to continue at the same amount that you're already doing, we can't make the assumption that you're going to continue for this upcoming year. We need to hear it, see it in writing. So if you can let me know about that, you can do it in through the stewardship online process, or you can just drop me an email and I'll be happy to make that happen for you. Thank you again so much. We are on track considering what we've been going through, and very proud of where we're going with this. Christine?
Thank you very, very much, Bunny, for all of your work on so many things during just recognizing that stewardship also was the month of March and got very abruptly changed. So thank you for responding to that. So next slide, we're going to be going to the budget, and I'm going to give you an overview of that. We had 3 online budget review meetings that were very well attended. Thank you everyone who came to those and asked some really great questions. In the budget, as we said, it's a pretty conservative budget. It's kept changing while we were building it because we did not, so many things were dependent on the building. We are more than any other year, we are looking at the budget as a guide. Yes. We are looking at it as a guide because we need to be very responsive to what might be happening, what's happening when we come back into the building, what's going to be happening with the economy, watching our income very carefully. So some highlights are we are bringing staff salaries to UU guidelines midpoint. Thank you very much to the Personnel Advisory Committee and Kim St. Clair for some great work on that. Benji Messer, who is our Director of Music, is at the midpoint and also is at a different position. He is now a credentialed music director, which we get to celebrate. You can all put in some yays in the chat. It's a big accomplishment that he's been working on for 3 years. Our children's ministry assistant, who is Rose Pascoe, she was significantly below UUA guidelines, and we are increasing her hours from an 18-hour week to a 16-hour week. We have put money in for a website redesign that we will hopefully bid out as soon as the budget is passed, assuming that it is. We have got a strong level of building maintenance in there so that we make sure that our building, we stay ahead of any repairs there. And we are proposing to add an office assistant to focus on communications and membership. We're looking at a half-time position, but that is a very flexible start time. We need to make sure that we are in the good financial position to do that. So we are probably not going to be turning that on until at least December of this year and watching our economics. We have said, especially given the past, that we do not want to hire unless we are absolutely sure that we can afford that person for the long term. And I saw a clarification, the children's ministry assistant was 8 hours a week. and we're doubling that to 16 hours a week. I'm sorry if I misspoke there. So that is, the overview of the budget. There's plenty of other detail in there. And if there's, I think this is where we go with the motion. And Johnny, you are going to call the motion.
That is correct. So it's important to know that Reverend Christine built the budget with the directors, so with Benji and with Katie and other staff members, and then went over it line by line with the board. So we all agree that the motion that's being put forward is to approve the 2020-2021 budget as has been sent to you via email and is currently available to you. And so I'm currently looking for one brave individual to unmute and second this motion.
I second it.
Seconded.
I second. Pete Krellman.
I heard Sherilyn Wally is the first person to second this motion. The motion is supposed to be put into the chat so that it's at least written down. And then we have an opportunity for discussion according to our bylaws. So if anyone has a specific question they would like addressed in this forum, unmute yourself or type it into the chat. So I'm not hearing anybody, but I did hear somebody type something. And so I'm going to say that there's no more discussion on this topic. And so I'm going to ask all of you to unmute yourself. And I'm going to ask for those in favor to say aye.
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 That was really quite cool to listen to. And now we're going to open it up and ask for anybody who is not in favor of approving it to say nay by unmuting themselves. I did not hear anybody say nay. We're going to move on to the abstentions. And so if there's anybody who wishes to abstain, please unmute yourself and say abstain. I'm not hearing or seeing any abstentions. And so Kim, as the secretary, I'm saying that it's unanimous in favor of the motion to approve the budget as proposed with no abstentions and no nays. Thank you very much, everybody.
Yep, thank you.
And I invite Kat Dixon from the nominating committee to move us to the next order of business. Stephanie, Bridell, Vigil, if you could mute everybody. I think you just may have.
Yep, working on it.
Kat, you need to unmute.
Sorry, I'm Kat Dixon, and I've been lucky enough to be the chairperson of the nominating committee this year. And I would like to go over a couple of things. Number one, the process that we use. Since last year, we have been soliciting suggestions and nominations from 4 candidates from everybody from our congregation. So we've had a lot of input from all of you. From that input, and with working with our nominating candidates, we created an independent slate of candidates to be voted on by the congregation right now, this time. We also sent a slate of candidates in a packet with you 30 days prior. That's part of our bylaws. After the slate was announced, no additional candidates were nominated. Stephanie, could you move the slide forward, please? Oh. All right, so the things, the three groups that we created nominees and candidates for are the UUC Board of Trustees, the Nominating Committee, and the UU Foundation of Phoenix Board. So we had 3 entities to deal with. The continuing members of the Board of Trustees, Jonathan Lifshitz, Bunny Hodis, Larry Reed, Kim St. Clair, and Jennifer Jones. Those members are continuing, and the nominees for this year, for 2021, are Lucia DeVernay, Shelley Stephenson, and Francis Widget. We also had our youth representatives, Jacob Hayes and Chloe Stephenson Brown. I would like to get a motion to accept this slate of candidates for our Board of Trustees for the 2021 period of time. Can I get a second from somebody?
Second, Lynn McBean.
All right, great. I'm not sure where I got that from, but we did get a second. And I would like to put the motion into the process of hearing the yeas and nays. So I hope you're, are you hearing me okay? Are you hearing me okay?
We are.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, good. I'm getting feedback from something. Let's go to
open for discussion before the I discussion.
Right. Let's have a discussion. Does anyone have any things that they need to discuss regarding the Board of Trustees candidates? I see that Lynn McVean seconded. I don't hear anyone wanting to have a discussion.
I have a question. This is Katie about Jacob Hayes' name.
I'm sorry?
About Jacob Hayes.
Yes.
Johnny, is this Eric Hayes' older brother?
It is Jacob Hayes, Eric Hayes' older brother.
Okay.
Thank you. All right. So let's go ahead and go to the vote. We've had a little bit of a discussion, so we need to restate the motion. The motion is to accept this slate of candidates for the UUC Board of Trustees for the 2021 year. And I need another second.
No, you don't. You just restate it and ask for all in favor.
Okay. All right. Can we get a yeas for all in favor of accepting this slate of candidates for the Board of Trustees? Yay. All right. I don't hear any more. Let's ask, or do I hear any nays for accepting the UC Board of Trustees' new slate of candidates? I don't hear any nays. Let's move on to the abstentions. Are there any who abstain from voting for the UUC Board of Trustees for 2021 new slate of candidates?
Abstain.
Abstain.
Abstain. Abstain.
Abstain.
Okay, great. We do have some abstentions. So if there's no questions at this time, let's count the yays and nays. Stephanie, do you go through that process of deciding the yays and nays? It looks like all the yays.
Kat, I took record. We had no nays. I had a count of 6 abstentions and the rest ayes.
Great. Thank you for summarizing that. All right. Well, we will have accepted the Board of Candidates for the 2020 year for the UC Board of Trustees. Now we'll go on to the nominating committee. Continuing members on the nominating committee are Walt Daugherty and Karen Kurtz. I will tell you that this year we had a rough year. Everybody else did because of the pandemic. And we really appreciate, number one, the people on our team worked really, really hard and did a very, very conscientious job. And I really appreciated working with everyone that I worked with. That would be Carolee Peterson, Betsy Bradley, and Val Wiley. I'm sorry. Okay, so we're going on to the new nominees for this slate for the 2021 nominating committee are Ted Myers, Julie Smart, Susan Morris, and then we have Daisy Danforth coming back to finish up a year. Can I get a motion to accept this slate of candidates?
So moved.
Second.
So moved.
All right. It's been seconded. All right.
I need a name for the second. The motion was
Lucia, of her name?
Kirkland.
Can somebody just type a name in there, please? It's a lot of voices.
I'm sorry, what are you asking?
I need to have the name of a person who seconded the motion.
Could you type your name in?
Got it. Thank you.
Okay. All right. With that motion put on the board, I would like to have a discussion. Do we need to have a discussion concerning any of these new members or anything concerning the nominating committee at this time? All right, we'll go on to a vote. I would like to hear yays for all the people who would like to keep this slate of candidates for the 2021 nominating committee.
Aye.
Aye.
That's a lot of ayes. All right, all those not in favor of accepting the slate of candidates 2021 for the nominating committee? I don't hear any nays. Do I hear any abstentions for the 2021 nominating committee slate?
Abstain.
I count 3. We have approved the nominees, the new nominees, and the nominating committee slate of candidates for 2021. Thank you. I think we move on to Kim St. Clair.
Thank you so much, Kat, and to the entire nominating committee for your very, very hard work to put together such an amazing slate of nominees for both the Board of Trustees and for the nominating committee. And welcome to those new Board of Trustee members and new nominating committee members. And thank you to the service of the outgoing nominating committee members. So I now have a motion to adjourn the UUCP annual meeting, and I need a second for that, please.
Second.
And can I have somebody give me a name for that?
Sunshine Watson. I see her she wrote it down.
Thank you, Sunshine. Any discussion about the adjournment of the meeting? Okay, so then we'll go to the vote. So all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Heard lots of ayes. Any opposed, please say nay. And then any abstentions, please unmute yourself and tell us that you abstained. And with that, the motion carries and the UUCP annual meeting has now been adjourned, and I'm going to turn it over to the UU Foundation and Pierre. Thank you, everyone.
If we could advance the slide, please. Wonderful. This will be short and sweet. I'm pinch hitting for our fearless president who's recovering from an ankle fracture. This is Pierre Theriault, by the way. I'm the secretary of our foundation. Next slide, please. We have board meetings typically the first Sunday of each month. Everybody's welcome. Just a reminder, this is maybe one of the most important things I'll say, is that all congregation members are also foundation members. So think about getting acquainted with what the foundation is all about. It's really the congregation's strategic reserve of ventilators and PPE. The foundation is intended to be a strategic resource to the congregation when major issues come up. It is not a substitute for the congregation's annual commitment to taking care of business, but every now and then major things come up, like the $200,000 loan this year. Another thing that we're doing is trying to educate ourselves about how through your trust and estate, even if you're a young person, you can plan to have part of your estate go to the foundation to support future generations. It's a very forward-looking commitment. If we could go to the next slide. These are the financials for the second half of the year. Thank you, Terry Lockwood, for preparing this. You see that we basically spent nearly $300,000 during those 6 months. The bulk of it was the loan to the congregation. 52,000 plus was the annual disbursement. I forgot to say that the foundation, your foundation, gives a certain percentage of the foundation assets to the congregation annually. And then, of course, the stock market didn't do particularly well. There's a question about, well, what is the plan to repay the loan? And I do not know the answer. I think that will actually come from the congregation board of trustees, not us. Next slide, please. That may be right. So, oops, I think I'm supposed to turn it over to Kat now.
Thanks, Pierre. I would like to go into the slate of candidates for the UUCP Foundation of Phoenix. The board got the right Foundation of Phoenix. The continuing members are Pierre Chariot, Michelle Morgan, Diane Targanoff, and Dan Hutton. Nominees for the new slate of candidates for Bonnie White and Jay Bastani. Are there any discussions that we need to have regarding this UU Foundation of Phoenix for the 2021 slate of candidates? If you have anything to discuss, please unmute or type in the chat.
Actually, we need to have the motion in the second before we have a discussion, Kat. So I have put the motion to approve the 2020-21 Foundation of Trustees slate of candidates into the chat box. Could we please have a second? And I see that it looks like Jenny Jones seconded it. Thank you, Jenny.
All right, thank you, Jenny. All right, since that has been carried, would like to hear all those in favor of accepting the slate of candidates for 2021 for the UU Foundation of Phoenix, please say aye.
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 Thank you. Thank you. Any of you not accepting the slate of candidates, not in favor of the slate of candidates for 2021 for the UU Foundation of Phoenix, please say nay. I don't hear any nays. All those, are there any abstentions? I don't hear any abstentions. I move that we accept the slate of candidates for the UU Foundation of Phoenix. Thank you.
If we could go to the next slide. We may have lost the slide that lists the current members, and for that I apologize.
We did, yeah.
But Diana Ashley has been a major heavy lifter, as has Terry Lockwood. Their terms are ending, and we're incredibly grateful. Reverend Dance was in attendance for some of the meetings, Laura Gustafson as well, and Johnny Lifshitz in his role as president. So just thanks to all the board members. If I could call for a motion to adjourn the UUFP annual meeting.
It's already up there, so we just need a second.
Second.
Okay. Is there any discussion? Okay, hearing no interest in discussion, may I call for those who wish to adjourn the UUFP annual meeting, unmute and say aye.
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 Aye. Aye.
Thank you. And if for those who are opposed, unmute and say nay. Thank you. For those who wish to abstain, please unmute and say abstain. Thank you. Hearing no nays and no abstention, the UUFP annual meeting is now adjourned.
And I just want to say thank you to everyone who made this possible. It is so different. And Stephanie, I'm wondering if we can put all of us back on, take down the screen. And even if we just have our names up there, just want to thank everyone, the board, the foundation, the nominating committee, everyone who made this possible. And can we all just show our videos and wave so we can see each other? You've been so good through all of this. And thank you for making this possible. And y'all are wonderful. And you can unmute yourself and say, yay, we did it! Yay! Say whatever you want.
Everybody. Good job, everyone.
Yeah.
Lovely to see you all.
We may be wonderful, but you're not too pretty bad yourself, right?
Yeah.
It's a
Christine.
It's yay, all of us.
Second that.
We did it. We did it.
Christine,
Yeah.
This is Allie.
Yeah. Hi,
I
Allie.
want to say thank you for an amazing year. Unusual in many ways, trying in some ways, but thank you for an amazing year and have a wonderful study and vacation time.
Second that.
Hey. Thank you all. Yeah, and let's just keep being amazing together, right? Carry on. Yeah, I saw some hands. I don't know if that was people wanting to speak or. Thank you, Ellie. That was sweet.
Is this coffee hour now?
Certainly can be. If anyone